Alex, you have children. You have two Gen A kids, as they say.
I do. I got two Alphites.
The successors to Generation Z, which are the successors to Millennials.
Correct.
It remains to be determined how Generation Alpha is going to behave. They're still pretty young, as far as I can tell. Like, what's the oldest Gen A?
The eldest would be our niece, who I believe is turning 14 next year.
Okay, so they're real. They're like
generation pre-teen, early teen.
Yeah, early teen. So, and they're not really relevant yet, but they will be soon. Yeah. Like in 5 years.
I don't know how soon the betas are. God, that's gonna be. They're gonna change their name. They're not gonna be called Gen Beta, as I just know it. I just know it.
If I had a kid, they'd be Gen Beta at the rate I'm going.
When's Gen Sigma gonna show up?
Like, three, four times, maybe. I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket. You'll fucking be stroking it. You'll be thinking about money. I myself, I jerk off at least twice a day.
The point is that Generation Z, the Zoomers, we've picked on them a lot. Over the 8 years, over the 8 years, over the time that we've been talking about these things, but this topic is actually I feel really sorry for them because there's a thing that's been going on, and again I've been seeing this mentioned more and more, and then I did a quick search and there's an article from the New York Times about this very topic. Generation Z seems to be nostalgic for a decade or decades that they weren't alive during. Okay. Generation Z is kind of fetishizing the 80s and the 90s.
Interesting. Kind of like how our generation fetishizes the Roman Empire.
That's not our generation, that's men.
All those wild cards, they support a weak hand. A man's game has no wild cards.
Let me get this straight. You're saying it's a woman's game because women are weak and need more help.
Yes.
It's just you, Alex. Alex is the one who really wants the Roman Empire back. Thinking about, just sitting here thinking about the aqueducts.
Aqueducts. My aqueducts. Did you know the Romans built the aqueducts?
What's that?
What are your hobbies? Building aqueducts.
What's that pic? There's like a picture of Brie Larson where she's like drinking Starbucks and it says like just sitting here thinking about Stanley or something.
Yeah, some shit like that. At least it was a picture of her and not her feet.
That's a meme.
You died.
Oh, they're not. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, it is. Oh my God. I thought I was exaggerating how bad it is, but no. That was the picture she posted when he died.
Oh, she does have her foot.
Thinking about Stan. What a legend. Oh, and it's a cocktail. I thought it was a Starbucks. It's just her.
It's even worse.
It's actually.
And her purse says Brie. I mean, God almighty.
I know that like Louis Vuitton does that too, where you can get it like monogrammed and stuff.
Oh, like a keychain at a Buc-ee's?
You're just not rich enough for your monogrammed Buc-ee's keychain. Anyway, Alex.
Yes.
Why Gen Z is resurrecting the 90s. This is an article, an essay, an opinion piece from the New York Times.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean we get they do a remake or what's the thing that they've been doing recently? They're like nostalgic rehashes or something. Like what was the thing that they did for King of the Hill?
Oh, reboot,
like a reboot of Ren and Stimpy.
Maybe, but see, they never saw that show.
Yeah, but they never lived in the 90s either. I
went and saw. We'll get to this article eventually, yes. But this just reminded me. I went and saw One Battle After Another on Tuesday, And I was standing in line, which I was shocked that there was still a line for this movie 2 weeks after it's been out. It's 7:45 on a Tuesday night, but there was. So I was standing in line for the movie, listening.
The latest PTA joint.
Latest PTA joint. Spoilers, it's fine. It's probably my least favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, but a bad Paul Thomas Anderson film is still like a really good movie, if that makes any sense. It's like... I don't want to get into it. The first half is really good. The second half I have issues with. Anyway, point is that I was listening to these young people, like 20-year-olds.
Oh, young people.
Standing in front of me, and they were discussing Terminator 2 as if it was some kind of obscure film. They were like, hey, have you ever seen Terminator? And the guy's like, oh, I don't know what that is. They're like, Terminator, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like a robot. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, I think I saw the first one. He's like, you've never seen Terminator 2? He's like, no, I've never seen Terminator 2. He's like, oh, it's like this cool action movie. It's like really early like CG. And I was listening to this being like, oh, my God, I am old. They're talking. Terminator 2 was ubiquitous to us, especially 20-year-old dudes.
Yeah.
In 2006, everybody, every 20-year-old guy had seen that film. Now people talk about it in like these hushed kind of like, you ever heard of this?
Like they're talking about like Ben-Hur.
It's me. It's me talking about, like, to you, I'd be like, you ever see Last Year at Marienbad? Like, it's this really old black and white movie. It's in French. But that's the face that one of the dudes made.
Like, yes, of course, you fool. I have it on DVD.
That's the face that the other guy was making. And like the one dude's girlfriend was there, and she's like, yeah, I've only seen the first one. And he's like,
that's
yeah,
interesting.
He's like, yeah, it's so good, man. Terminator 2, check it out. I think you can rent it on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they've only seen because I know a lot of people, they had never seen the first one. They only saw like the second one. That was like their introduction to like the whole Terminator franchise. And I'm surprised that these people had actually seen the first one, but not the second one.
I love the theme.
You're done?
I love the theme to Terminator, especially Terminator 2. The opening credits to Terminator 2 are so like...
Oh, that whole opening is just... You're just like, this is amazing. And now we're going to modern day Los Angeles. You're like, okay, I've checked out.
Well, it's not modern day Los Angeles. It's 90s Los Angeles. Speaking of 90s Los Angeles, Alex.
Oh, 90s.
The idea that young people today have a damaging relationship with digital technology, a relationship that leaves them insufficiently grounded in the real world and psychologically and socially undeveloped, is not just an old person's lament. Young people also express those concerns. This is what I think is interesting, because usually generationally, it's always one generation against the other. I feel like young people are like, our generation, like Gen Z now has kind of accepted that they suck, which makes me sad.
First time.
Well, it makes me feel bad for them, because it's one thing it's like they lost the will to resist elderly people like us telling them that their generation's lame, Now it's like when Gen Xers or boomers were like talking about millennials and like, oh, I can't believe millennials are so disrespectful and blah blah blah. We were like, get with the times, Grandpa. Like, we're here. It's the time for the future. Now Gen Z is like, oh, millennials think we're lame. I guess we're lame. It's like, oh no, they're really.
Well, in truth, nobody cares about Gen X. I mean, they're always like, oh, we're so cool. Nobody thinks about us. Like, yeah, because nobody really thinks about you. Like, you're stop blowing smoke up your ass.
A 2023 survey conducted by the Harris Poll in partnership with my research team, my being
our research team, intern Gary,
Clay Routledge, Dr. Routledge, social psychologist who specializes in nostalgia.
Oh,
okay. All right.
I didn't know I could have taken that easy.
Team found that 80% of Gen Z adults, that is those born after 1997, were worried that their generation was too dependent on technology. 75% were concerned about social media's impact on young people's mental health, and 58% said that new technologies were more likely to drive people apart than bring them together. Hey.
Great. And what have they done about it since? Nothing.
That, of course, would involve a researcher who specialized in the psychology of nostalgia. I was struck by one finding in particular. 60% of Gen Z adults said that they wish they could return to a time before everyone was plugged in.
Hello, sir. Do you have any time today to speak about the Roman Empire?
I really want you to.
Our Lord and Savior, Gaius Julius Caesar, has brought upon this earth a wonderful contraption. It is the aqueducts.
That would, of course, would involve returning to a time that largely predates their own lives.
Well, the Amish. You can join the Amish. Just become a Mennonite.
I think that part of this, though, if I'm being self-critical, I think that part of this is because a sizable percentage of, let's say, tech YouTubers are millennials, because they're the ones who have the time and, well, not the time necessarily, but the money to show off.
They're at that point in their life.
They can show off, like, oh, check out this computer that I bought.
Linus.
Well, I'm thinking more like
Linus.
LGR or
The Gateway 2000 Solo 2200 Model S5-166.
But so they're talking about old video games, like PlayStation games, talking about old computers, old technology, old aesthetics, Windows
Stuff from their childhood that they weren't able to afford or have.
Right.
Now they can, and to do so, you're going to have to pay up quite a big.
But now you've got a bunch of Zoomers watching that on YouTube, thinking, "Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's that's nice. Oh, your phone wasn't on the internet. You just had text messages. That kind of seems nice."
Yeah, to actually put in people's phone numbers instead of just hitting the name.
Like
to call people.
If you wanted to do social media, you had to sit at a computer, and it was just MySpace. There were 2 social media websites. That's it. That sounds nice. Yeah, I don't like being on Instagram all the time. I don't like being on TikTok all the time. So you
couldn't video chat with people. That's pretty neat. You actually had to go out and meet them in person.
Yeah, it's like
socialize.
So there was, they sit there and watch that and think, oh, that does sound. I don't like how things are now. I don't like how things are now. The guy on the internet doesn't like how things are now. So that's validating, because I don't like TikTok. I don't like I'm speaking as a Zoomer. I don't like these things that are around me that I'm supposed to do. And the old guy on the internet is telling me that stuff's bad too. And now I feel like, oh, that is bad. So it's like cyclical. It's like self-fulfilling. They feel bad about it, and the internet tells them to feel bad about it. But is Gen Z really in the grip of historical nostalgia? And if so, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Nostalgia gets a bad rap. It's often characterized as an unproductive fixation on an idealized past, one that prevents people from living in the present and planning for the future. In reality, though, nostalgia helps people thrive in the present and build a better future. I and many other scholars have come to this conclusion after conducting a wide range of studies, including laboratory experiments and quantitative and qualitative surveys involving a large variety of people from all around the world. Nostalgic memories are often a source of comfort, guidance, and inspiration. Even spending a few minutes reflecting on a fond memory or listening to an old familiar song can improve your mood, increase feelings of belonging, and instill meaning in life. Do you agree with that? Do you feel that? Do you feel better when nostalgia?
Yeah, I do that. I mean, I would watch a lot of retro commercial. Using YouTube as a reference. Dead mall tours, retro commercials. Right now, there's like the old 80s and 90s Halloween commercials that are being played on various YouTube channels. A lot of that stuff, and then I kind of get very depressed, kind of melancholy, kind of really sad, and it causes because I know that I don't have that ability to go back and experience that again or even enjoy that type of feeling again. So this is the closest thing. It's kind of like having an AI girlfriend from Blade Runner. It's just it's an artificial thing, but I can't really experience the real thing.
Well, okay, so that's my point.
Not girlfriend. I mean, I have my wife and all that, but this stuff.
My point is that I kind of disagree. I don't have a problem with nostalgia, obviously, but I do think that it can be a pretty damaging emotion, because like this helps people thrive in the present and build a better future. Nostalgic memories are often a source of comfort, guidance, and inspiration. I kind of completely disagree. I feel, and maybe it's just my reaction to it, but I feel like when I start wallowing in nostalgia, all it does is make me it's like it doesn't, I should be moving on from it. I should be living in the present, and instead I am fixated on my childhood and being fortunate enough to have a lot of fond memories of a childhood. But then that makes me sad. I don't feel inspired. I don't feel like comforted. I feel sad. I feel melancholy.
I feel that because like initially the comfort's there. Like when you start thinking like, oh, like we were talking about a while back about cereal. We were talking about like Magic Spoon, which is trying to kind of create that similar, type of feeling from the past. And it's like, yeah, but I'm eating this and it doesn't taste anything like what the cereal's equivalent was back then.
That's the most egregious part
I want
of it.
That type of stuff.
It's trying to evoke it's playing on nostalgia, but it's like so modern and so awful.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I go and be like, oh, I'm just gonna get actual real, Fruit Loops, and then I taste them and I'm like, they've changed the recipe, the colors look different, the textures all. I'm like, even the real thing is not what it used to be like back then. And how many times has Trix basically kind of gone through a similar thing where it's like, we have the balls, then we became the shapes, then we get back to the balls, and now we have the fruit shapes again. It's like, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I know it's about cereal, but I'm just like, No,
I mean, there are flavors, and I mean, that's the thing, is that there are things that, here, I'll tell you this, just because it came up while we were together this weekend, and I didn't really go into it, but that song, you were playing a song on the radio, must have been Friday morning, that End of Beginning, that song, and When I'm Back in Chicago, I Feel It, another version of me, I was in it. I was listening because you had played that, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this song. I didn't really I just liked the song, but I didn't really pay close attention to it. And then I downloaded it, and I was driving to work on Monday morning, and I was almost in tears because those lyrics are like me right now. Like it is like when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me, I was in it. I'm like, yeah, that was like 20 years of my life was in Chicago, and like defining time in my life. And when I am in Chicago again, I'm like, this is where I belong. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it was all of the weird, dumb shit that is going on in Chicago. I still miss it. So then I'm like, okay, but is that a good feeling? Like, is this, should I move on from this? I'm 42 years old. I'm not 24 years old anymore. I should be, I should be maturing. I shouldn't be staying out to bars until 4:00 in the morning anymore. Right.
Even though that time period, like you just said, like, it's 20 plus years, that's basically
half of my life.
Practically your entire adulthood up to this moment. So it's like, what, like I'm nostalgic for like my adulthood. So should I move on from my adulthood and kind of get to that?
Exactly.
Next phase of adult, like the middle age part.
I should be.
What to call it?
This kind of reminds me. I was having dinner with my boss last night, and he was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, 42. And he was like,
"It's like you've known me for 20 years. Why are you asking me?"
I was like, "It's right. I'm in the." To quote Frasier, I'm right in the middle of not a kid anymore, I'm at the like not a kid anymore stage. And he was like, "You haven't been like you're not a kid anymore at like 30," and I don't know that I agree with that. Maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but I feel like 40 has turned into the new, like you're out of excuses. Now you gotta like be a real grown up. Yeah, the 30s. Yeah. I mean, we're different people, but my 30s, I think I was kind of wilder than my 20s, to be honest. And so I
Yeah, I would say I was probably the opposite of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you were
Mostly because I was already married by 30
exactly
at 30.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was dating a wild woman who was an awful, terrible, wonderful, incredible influence on me.
And like in my like in my 20s, like it was like the first part of it was like, okay, I'm still in college, and then I met my wife, and then it still had a couple of years because she was still in college at that point. So I still kind of got to live out some more years of that college, fun partying thing, and then after that, it was just like, okay, we really need to buckle down, need to think about future stuff like that, and boom, 30, married.
Well, weren't you like 35 when you got married? How old were you?
30.
You were 30 years old when you got married?
We celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary this year.
Wow.
Whoa, man! Do you want to talk about aqueducts, Brendan? Yeah, because then we didn't have until I was 35.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, 35, the mid 30s. That's really when you buckle up and you're like, "Yep, I am an adult because I am changing diapers at 2 a.m. and I can't see and I can't sleep." So yeah.
Gen Z hardly has a monopoly on historical nostalgia. Our research team found that millennials and Gen Xers also experience high levels of historical nostalgia compared with baby boomers and the silent generation. That's interesting. My mom's nostalgic. She's a boomer. But what makes historical nostalgia among Gen Z notable, I think, is that they are specifically captivated by what life was like in the analog past, a gulf that is greater than the one that separates, say, Gen Xers and their boomer parents. I think that it is interesting that they're nostalgic for a time they never lived in. Like, we never were nostalgic for the 70s.
Yeah.
We were never like, I want to go back. It may be incidental things like, what's it called? Woodstock. Like, I wish I could have been at Woodstock.
Woodstock, yeah.
It's things like that, but no one's sort of like, oh, I wish I was born in 1973.
Yeah, we definitely, like, us being like the older cohort of the millennials for like the early 80s, like some of that stuff from the early 80s that kind of still worked its way through the rest of the decade. Like, we definitely, the 80s, definitely the 90s, because that was like our peak enjoyment years and stuff like that.
But we have a lot of reference points in the late 80s that are still like, I'd say starting with 86, 87 is where it becomes like you have memories of that, of what those things were.
Yeah.
So it's weird and interesting and sad that Gen Z looks around them and says, "Oh man, I really wish I could have gone. I wanted to be born in the 90s so that I could have Discovery Zone and Chuck E. Cheese and slap bracelets and fanny packs, and like they just
play with pogs,
go through, and it's all this stuff that they just bring back on their own anyway. What did we bring back from the 70s? There was a minor
polyester.
There was a minor attempt to bring back bell bottoms that lasted about.
Which were
go on.
Kind of like flares or something like that.
Well, flare, but
like
they
flare jeans, they had been.
I mean, that was kind of an adaptation of it. But I remember there was a period where they really tried to bring back just genuine bell bottoms. I remember in a Disney magazine. Remember those little like digest Disney magazines?
Disney Adventures.
Yeah, they handed in there at one point. I remember, and it lasted about a year and a half, and then it didn't go anywhere. That was the extent of trying to bring back 90s or 70s fashion. Now they're bringing back an acid wash jeans in Gen Z.
Wasn't Gen Z trying to bring back like girls like baby doll dresses and Doc Martens?
I have Doc Martens. Doc Martens never go out of style, man. I'm also a lesbian.
And the one in the green flannelette shirt here is Sam.
I think I know what's going on here, Dr. Watson.
What do you mean?
Well, she's wearing a green flannel shirt, and are those Doc Martens I spot at the bottom? I think something's going on here.
I often hear people wonder if today's young adults were born too late to reap the benefits of the pre-internet world. Our research gives me hope that the answer is no, because historical nostalgia is helping them to do just that. For example, the practice of listening to an entire vinyl record is a valuable exercise in sustained focus. since you can't toggle away on Spotify to another album or song or click on a YouTube video halfway through. But the practice may also be teaching young people broader lessons. Say that they can take a long walk in nature without having to check their phones until they return. Blah, 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 blah. Board games with your friends. I think that that's true about the vinyl. We've talked about this before. I'm very pro vinyl, and I'm very, very pro going to movies and movie theaters, because you can't be looking at your phone. You can't just be like, oh, I don't like this song. Next song. I think that experiential stuff like that is important. But
yeah,
there is no reason to think that members of Gen Z are turning against modern technology. By many metrics, they appear to be enthusiastic about the latest innovations. And in other research, my lab has found that most of them have positive feelings about many aspects of their online lives. But progress always involves reaction and revision. Historical nostalgia may be helping a younger generation to harness the benefits of new technology while preserving the virtues of the tangible, physical experience that remain essential to human flourishing. With the rise of artificial intelligence, all eyes are on the future, but it is worth looking to the past, as Gen Z appears to be doing, to reveal the future we actually want. I like that last statement. It's a good summary.
Yeah.
I am other thing I noticed when I was at that movie screening, I saw a guy with a flip phone, younger guy, like
nice.
He was probably 25, and he had a little dumb phone that he was, because I felt bad for him because he was trying to find something, and everyone else like had real phones and could turn on real flashlight, and he was just trying desperately to like light it with this
blue LCD screen.
This blue LCD screen.
And he also was wearing Chuck Taylors and boot cuts.
Yeah.
God bless him.
I like I said, I do think it's really interesting that Gen Z seems to be fetishizing the 90s the same way that millennials do. Like, I definitely... Yeah. I've said multiple times, I hate smartphones. I absolutely hate them. I think that they ruined it's like COVID and smartphones are like have doomed Western civilization.
The bookend of doom.
Yeah, the bookend of doom. Doomed Western civilization because they're just too egregious, too devastating.
Yeah.
Can't come back from it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Alex?
I definitely think, like, I think it's because when we, like, millennials or Gen X go and nostalgia about stuff, it's usually, for them, it's like the 70s and 80s. And for us, it's like the 80s and 90s, maybe a little bit into the early 2000s, but that's pretty much where it ends. Gen Z, like they were saying, like 97, and it's like, okay, well, when is their cognitive stuff? It's like, they always say that, like, they unfortunately never got the chance to live and experience and remember what a pre 9/11 world was like and stuff like that. So they're not, that's kind of like this completely different epoch. So whenever they try to nostalgia about stuff, it's like the 2000s and 2010s. And when you think about it, the 2010s and 2000s were pretty similar in a lot of stuff. There was no like major changes. Like a lot of it is still kind of just remaining the same at a certain point. So they're like, I don't really nostalgia much about stuff because it's for the most part the same as everything is now. There's different changes, fashion trends and stuff like that, but it's I would even say is, it's got a lot of similarity, but then there was like definite different things, how everything looked, how everything sounded, how everything kind of felt for, pop culture in the 90s and 80s. That's, something that they're kind of interested in and stuff like that. And, it's kind of like sometimes people, boomers always want to listen to like, the oldies and stuff like that, or go back to like, the drive-in and stuff like that, and have a milkshake and a burger, served at your car.
I still want all of that.
I want some of that. But yeah, I think it's I hope they kind of get what they're looking for, and hopefully if, they drum up enough interest in that, here here come the millennial boomers, and we'll be more than happy to go and have funny discussions about what's your favorite episode of Rocko's Modern Life.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm like, if these young entrepreneur Gen Z want to start like taking technology back a step, like it'll be like Dune. It's like, no, we all
the thinking machines are gotten rid of, and we just have mentats.
Humanity experimented with technology, and we decided that most people can't.
We have to go back.
Can't handle it. And mental health is in decline. Social media. If Zoomers start banning social media and outlawing smartphones and just going back to dumb phones, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with that. I don't have a problem with any of this.
Sounds good to me.
Hey, you know what? Start capping internet speeds at 56K.
56K, yep. The other thing I would also say is I think they've probably gotten this feeling to be interested in stuff that we were interested in because, like you were saying, you know, a lot of us older millennials have the disposable income now to kind of relive that stuff. And case in point, you ended up a couple of years ago getting a Ninja Turtle figure and a Shredder, a Leonardo and Shredder, but they weren't the original ones. These were like the specialty, like what was it, like 7 or 4 Horsemen version, or Super 7, I think it was one of those. And it's like newer version, you know, it's different craft and stuff, but it looks like basically like a modernized version of the original figurines. So I think a lot of these Zoomers kind of see stuff that is being marketed to our generation that we enjoyed as kids, and they're like, oh, that's actually kind of cool, that looks pretty neat, you like, and they're like trying to learn more about that and stuff like that, have an interest in that.
Well, and also, I mean, another part of it, and I like with you and your kids, was like when we were little, nothing that we were watching was things that had come out before. Like He-Man was new, Ninja Turtles was new. We were watching things as they developed. And then now, because it's the same stuff, basically, it's easy, like for you as a parent, to be like, oh, hey, Ninja Turtles is super cool, you should watch Ninja Turtles. Oh, Kamen Rider's really cool, you should watch Kamen Rider. And you're like basically cultivating your kid's taste. You're like, it's when we were kids, we told our parents what was cool. Now parents tell their kids what's cool. You know, like it's kind of an inversion in that way. So it's like, of course, Gen Z is sort of discombobulated and is like, oh yeah, I guess I like Ninja Turtles, and because what else? What's their Ninja Turtles? Like what's the original IPs that Gen Z has that are meaningful and lasting?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Leave a comment if you know the answer.
Like, I guess maybe, because I would say probably for them it was maybe Harry Potter.
I guess for Gen Z.
I think, yeah, because I mean, for a lot of millennials, like we were like in our 20s by that point.
Kate, a lot of, I'll put it this way, I know a lot of white girls who love love Harry Potter.
But okay, so for Gen Z, I would say maybe Naruto.
Another Japanese show, okay.
Bleach. Okay, well, I know we're going to anime, but Naruto, Bleach.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say Avatar, Last Airbender.
My pet Zoomer, he liked that show. He was a huge fan of that
and
show.
I've watched it like with my kids, and I'm like, okay, or what's the other one? Ben 10. If Ben 10 and Avatar came out back in like the 90s, I'm like, I definitely would have been a kid watching that. I could tell. Because even now I watch it, I'm just like, okay, it's not a bad thing.
I saw clips of the blind girl, and I thought she was cute. Like fun cute. Not like sexy cute. How old is she? I don't know. Sorry, officer. What's the question?
Can't you watch where you're...
No.
Right. Sorry.
On Netflix, they've got that Power Rangers Now and Forever series where they bring back a bunch of the older, like the older Power Rangers as like this kind of like homage special type of show. And I was explaining to the boys about why they like the suits and who the like these characters are and stuff like that, and Rita Repulsa and stuff like that. So then I was like, oh, do you want to watch the original one that you know, Daddy and Uncle Brendan used to watch? And like, yeah. So they started watching like the one from '93, and they're like, whoa, that's awesome. And like, it's like, that is so cool, that Megazord. But also at the same time, because of this stuff with this new Power Rangers thing, they had this special promotional thing on Fortnite where you could get the original Super Mighty Morphin Power Ranger skins, and you can get the Megazord and stuff like that. So that they do that a lot. They did the same with Ninja Turtles and Star Wars. So
everything's on Fortnite.
Everything's on.
You know how I knew that one battle after another was going to be questionable? There
was a Fortnite reference.
There's a Fortnite tie-in. It's actually worse than having a reference. It'd be one thing if Leonardo DiCaprio was like, "Is that goddamn Fortnite?" Then I wouldn't. Then that could be funny. The fact that they used it as a promotional tool for the movie, like, what Zoomer is going to go watch a 3-hour Leonardo DiCaprio art film? This art film. It's not really an art film at all, but.
PTA is a long way from his art film days.
PTA was like, I want $175 million. How do I do it? And this is the movie that it's funny to me. It doesn't matter. I give Zoomers 3 out.
None of this matter.
3 out of 4 pots of gold.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can. How would you rate the generation?
I would say, I mean, my interactions with them for the most part has been mostly positive.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd say probably 3 out of 4 also.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of gloom and doom and stuff like that, but I feel like some of them have got their heads together. It's interesting because I always hear stories about them saying like, oh, I can't afford this, or this thing is this, and the housing stuff. But then I also know a lot of Zoomers that are married and they own a house. So I'm like,